Okay, today for Tuesday, I'm going to review all of the properties of multiplication, and you're going to take a properties quiz. The first property I'm going to review is called the commutative property. And when you have the commutative property, it means that it doesn't matter if you switch the factors, you're still going to have the same answer. So let's look what we have here. It says 5 times 4 equals 4 times 5. So what I've done here is I have the same factors. Both problems have 5 and 4. The only thing I've done is I've switched those factors and they're in different spots. But if you know that 5 times 4 is 20, then you're going to know that 4 times 5 is 20. That's what the commutative property tells me, that it doesn't matter if you flip-flop the factors, you're still going to get the same answer. So here's an example of commutative property. The next property I'm going to go over is called the identity property. The identity property says that when you multiply a number by 1, it will be the same number. So if I say 5 times 1, it's going to be 5. 6 times 1 is going to be 6. 100 times 1 is going to be 100. The identity property just says that it doesn't matter what I multiply by 1, it's going to be that same number. The third property that we went over is the zero property. And that means anything you multiply by 0 will be 0. 6 times 0 is going to be 0. 8 times 0 is going to be 0. So that's the zero property. The fifth property that we've went over is called the distributive property, and we've worked on it a long time. The distributive property is the break apart property, and that's where I take a factor and I break it apart and decompose it into two smaller numbers so it's easier for me to solve the equation. So I have the equation 8 times 4, and I might not be fluent in my 8s or my 4s, but I am with my 2s. So I'm going to take and I'm going to break apart 4 into 2 and 2. You want to know why? Because 2 plus 2 is 4. So now I'm going to come down here and type my two equations, okay? So if I've broken apart 4 into 2 and 2, it's going to be 2 times 8 plus 2 times 8, okay? All I've done is 8 is the factor that stayed the same. The one that changed was 4, and it changed into 2 plus 2, okay? So what is 2 times 8? You shouldn't have to count by 2s to solve that. You should automatically know that 2 times 8 is 16, okay? And then you should already know that 2 times 8 is 16. So now since I've broken apart 4 into 2, I need to add those two equations together. So what's 16 plus 16? Well, I'll look in my tens place, and I know I've got 10 plus 10 is 20, and 6 plus 6 is 12. So 20 plus 12 is 32. So my answer is 32. All right, so now you're going to take your properties quiz after watching this video. Remember, you have the commutative property, the identity property, the zero property, and the distributive property.